Good morning, students. This video is for class 6 science, and today also we will continue with biology. Chapter number 7, that is adaptation. Today our topic of discussion will be aquatic animals. Aquatic animals means the animals that live in water. Like for example fish, few snakes, frog, crabs, then you have prawns, you have shark, whales and different types of animals. Fish, some snakes and frogs are found in freshwater habitat. Freshwater habitat in the sense there is no salt in it. Like for ponds, water in the ponds, canal, rivers, they are freshwater. Frogs use the long legs and webbed feet to swim. Frog, they have long legs. The back legs limbs are very long, which they use to jump a long distance. And they use these legs to swim also. And they are webbed feet. That means the toes are interconnected with a very small, very thin piece of skin. Crabs, prawns, sharks, and whales are found in saltwater habitat. Octopuses live in the deep water in the oceans. So, in the oceans where the level of water is very deep, in those places octopuses live. Big and small fish of different types are found in both salt water and fresh water. So, both small as well as big fishes, they are found in both salt water as well as fresh water. Now we will study about few adaptations in the body of fish which helps them to survive in both type of water. The first is respiration in fishes. Respiration in fish. We all know that fish breathe through gills. They have gills on both the side of their mouth. They use the mouth to take in water in which oxygen is dissolved, and then after taking it they absorb the oxygen that is there in the water and give out the water, and along with that they give out carbon dioxide also. Then this carbon dioxide mixes with the water, and this carbon dioxide is used by the aquatic plants. In this way the process of respiration continues. Let us start now. Aquatic animals like fish live in water and obtain oxygen which is dissolved in water. As I have said, the oxygen that is mixed in the water, that is dissolved in the water, they take that oxygen. Fish have special structures called gills for respiration on either side of their mouth. So they have a special structure called gills which they use to breathe on both the side of their mouth. The water along with dissolved oxygen enters the mouth and the absorption of oxygen takes place through the gills. Carbon dioxide diffuses in water. So when they take in oxygen, they give out carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide diffuses with water, which is used by the aquatic plants. Next is movement in fish. How does the fish move? What helps them to move? If you have seen a structure of a fish, if you have seen a fish, now this is a structure of a fish. Now if you see, fishes are vertebrates that live in water. That means they have backbone. Vertebrates, they have a big kingdom, big number of animals fall in this group, and they are vertebrates because they have a backbone. The body of a fish has a streamlined body. That means the body is streamlined, narrow in the front as well as narrow at the back. It is broad in the middle and narrow at the two ends like a boat. If you have seen boat, the boat are narrow at both the end. It looks like a boat. This helps the fish to cut through the water easily. It is an internal skeleton which is attached to the strong muscles. So this streamlined body means narrow at the front and narrow at the back. This shape of the body helps them to go through the water. so that they can easily pass. No obstacle, the water cannot stop them. That is why they have streamlined body. And this streamlined body is not like it's simply that they have streamlined body. No, there is a skeleton, there is an internal skeleton which supports, which gives the shape of of a streamline. The fins have skeletal and muscle support. It swims by curving its body and tail muscles. These curves causes its body to twist and turn, pushing the fish forward. So these fins actually help them to swim in water. These fins help them to change the direction. These fins help them to take a turn, twist and take a turn and change the direction. It changes its direction, balances and swims with the help of the fins. So these fins help them in the movement in water. Fishes have two types of fins that are paired. So this is pectoral fins and they are paired. This paired are known as pelvic as well as pectoral. So this and this are paired, pelvic fins. This is known as anal fins. And here you have, this is this is the dorsal fins, and here you have fins. Here you have fins. They are paired. So this is known as pectoral fins. And here you have caudal fins. Caudal fins. Now see, fishes have two types of fins that are paired. That is pelvic and pectoral. They remain in paired. They are present in the body in paired form. And unpaired are, that means single fins are dorsal fins, anal fins, and caudal fins are single fins. They are not paired. Why they are paired? That means you will find this pectoral as well as pelvic on both the side of the body of the fish, and these dorsal, anal and caudal, they are single. The unpaired fins help in forward and backward movement and in taking turns. So these unpaired fin, dorsal, anal and caudal, they help the body to move forward and backward as well as take turn. If you want to take a right turn, if you want to take left turn, these fins help them. The paired fins help in upward and downward movement, maintain the position of the fish at rest and act like brakes in a vehicle. So, and the paired fins, they help them to move upward, they help them to move forward, downward. They, suppose if they want to take rest, the body should be at still, these fins help them to stay at one place. When they stay at one place, these fins keep on moving and they remain there. A special structure called swim bladder is present in most fishes. It can be filled with air or emptied out to move upward and downward in water. So a special structure that is present in few fishes which help them to remain or move upward and downward in water. So I hope you have understood this, the features that help the fishes to stay in water. Next is you have adaptation of aerial habitat. Aerial habitat means the plants and animals that live most of the time in the air. The most important, the very common example is bird. You see here and there, you see bird here and there, and almost all the time they are flying. So these adaptation, what are the changes that a bird makes in their body so that they can remain, so that they can float, so that they can fly in air. Let us study about the adaptation of aerial habitat. Adaptation of aerial habitat. First is movement in birds. How do birds move? How do they remain in the air? Birds fly in the air and walk on the ground. Some birds can only walk. Birds such as ducks and swans can swim, while there are some birds such as ostrich and kiwi that cannot fly but are good runners. So there are different kinds of birds which can perform different activities. There are some birds which can fly and walk. There are some birds which can only walk, they cannot fly. There are some birds which can run very fast but they cannot fly. There are some birds which can swim. So different birds can do different activities. The birds that can fly have hollow, lightweight bones. Wings, feathers, and specialized muscles attached to the wings help them in flying. So we know that most of the birds can fly. And why do they fly? And how can they fly? Because which characteristic make them fly? The bones of these birds are hollow. That means it is filled with air, which actually makes the weight of the body very light. And there are some other things like feathers are attached to the wings, so which helps them to fly in the air. The body shape of flying birds is streamlined, which help them to move against the direction of wind. Again, here, as like fishes have streamlined body, the birds also have streamlined body. If you have seen, the birds have pointed face and pointed tail, which actually makes them fly against the wind, which makes way for the birds to fly in the wind. Birds show two types of flight. That means flapping and gliding movement. Let us see what are these movement. In flapping flight, the wings are actively flapped up and down to propel the bird forward or maintain balance. So in flapping type of flight, they keep on flapping the wings so that they can move up, so that they can move down, and they can maintain their balance in air. You can see this in birds such as sparrows and miners. So this type of flight is usually seen in sparrows and miners. But gliding and soaring are seen in large birds such as eagles and kites. What is gliding? When they flap, they move up and they want to remain in a particular place. You see, they stop the flapping of the wings. They simply stretch and they feel the wind. If you observe an eagle or a kite in flight, you will see that its wings are kept spread as it appears to move effortless in air. During gliding, the wings are flapped occasionally. So this type of flight is the birds move up, especially you will see in eagles and kites, they move up and they stretch their wings and they move in air. Sometimes they need to flap, but most of the times they glide. That means they just feel the movement. I hope all of you have understood this. Now, next is aerial plants. That means we have studied aerial animals, that is animals that live in air. Now we will study aerial plants. There are few plants which are not attached to the ground, the soil. They remain in other objects, and the roots are hanging in the air. They take in everything from the air. Aerial plants have roots above the ground. That is, the roots of these plants are not attached to the soil. To absorb nutrients, these plants have developed hanging roots. A common example of aerial plants are epiphytes. That means the roots are hanging. They are not attached to the soil. That means sometimes you will see that these plants take the help of, they grow in big tree, or they grow in the walls of the house. So the roots are hanging and they take all the required nutrients, all the required minerals from the air. Epiphytes are the plants that grow mainly on the twigs, trunks, and even the leaves of rainforest trees. They are not rooted in the soil, nor are they parasitic. That means they do not take the food from parasitic, means plants that take or depend on other plants for food. They do not take the food of other plants. The roots are hanging, they remain hanging, and they take the nutrients and food from the air. The roots of these plants are not in soil. For example, orchids, philodendrons, ferns, and bromeliads. So these are the plants which are epiphytes. That means their roots are hanging and they take the nutrients from the air. Their roots are not attached to the soil, nor they take food from other trees or plants. So children, I hope you all have understood till here. Please put a tick mark till here. In the next class, we will start with the adaptation of the epiphytes. What are the changes that you can see, or how they adjust themselves so that they can survive. So for today up to this much. Thank you class.